We are the Guinea Pig Collective. All will be assimilated. Resistance is futile.
Welcome back as we are hanging out with Cliff Jumper, getting his nom on. Cliff Jumper, the master of the Transformers, of course, ready for the next Transformer review. So, from Hasbro Generations 2016, we got Titans Return Leader Class Dreadnaught and Decepticon Overlord. Now, if you didn't know anything about Overlord, he actually was a Japanese exclusive release to the Transformers. It was part of what we considered Power Master series of figures that Hasbro had come out with. They called them something slightly different in Japan, where they were called God Masters. Otherwise, this one does a lot of justice to kind of look like the original one. I'm going to post a picture right here on the right-hand side of the screen to kind of show you what the original one looked like. And I was really excited to see this one. I knew who this character was, and since they never really had an official American release of this character, and they did include him in one of the IDW comics with The Last Stand of the Wreckers, I was really excited to get this piece. But enough about that. Let's get it out of the box. Let's take a look at it.
The Transformers will return after these messages.
Transformer! 高速ジェットと巨大タンク、驚異のトランスフォーム合体。ついに現れた最強のデストロイ、オーバーロード。今、地球が危ない。トランスフォーマー破壊大使、オーバーロード。
We now return to the Transformers.
So right out of the box, here we go with Overlord. Now I'm going to post a picture of the original one right off to the side here. And you can kind of see why they got some of the colors pretty close. They weren't exactly perfect, but you can definitely tell that this is Overlord. Now, of course, like I said, where this one changes, where the other one was a Power Master, as they called it in Japan, a God Master, this one is a Headmaster. Now, while this one is a big, blocky figure, you can see he does have some articulation in him. He's got a little bit of a turn up there at the bicep. He's got an elbow cut. He's got some pretty decent shoulder movement. He's got a single jointed knee. He's got nice rockers down at the feet. He's got a ball and twist sitting up at the hip. Absolutely no waist turn, and he does have ever so slight a little bit of head turn as well. You can see he's got his gun right here, and he's got the other part which becomes his plane up on his shoulder, because he does split apart and he becomes a tank, a jet, and then he can form together into an attack battle station. And here we go with one more pose, showing him off in a nice big wide-legged stance. This guy balances perfectly, I will say that. So one more shot kind of showing how well that balances, making it look like he's running right at the camera, and this one holds up very well. Very good balance on this figure. Even though the articulation is a little bit on the weak side because he's so huge, he does stand up very well. So if we take Overlord right here, we fold this back, flip this helmet up, you should be able to pop this little guy. There he goes. Jesus, went flying out. And there you go. You got Overlord's face right there. And you just kind of flip the legs around, and there you go. You got his little guy right there. That is Dreadnaught. And here we go with Overlord in his attack city base mode. And last but not least, here we go with Overlord broken down into his tank and his attack jet form with Dreadnaught sitting in the pilot seat. Another shot of the tank in the jet form, now with Dreadnaught piloting the tank. And one more up on their end so you can kind of see what the top of these ones look like. And there we go with Overlord. Now, I will mention, if you move this back piece that they say you're supposed to have in robot mode, if you move it back, you get a lot more movement out of this head. I don't know why they don't tell you just leave it back. It looks kind of goofy sitting up anyway. So there you go with him. Not bad for an older figure. A little bit of an older figure. It does have plenty of movement in this thing, especially for a big, huge figure. I mean, if you take one of the other figures that I just did recently, let's take War for Cybertron Optimus Prime. And he's a pretty decent sized figure, but if you pop him next to Overlord, yeah, Overlord is pretty huge next to him. I did get this one a while ago at Ollie's on clearance for 20 bucks, which was a steal back then because I believe this thing was well over $50, $60 in the store at the time. So it was a hell of a deal on this thing. Really nice figure of Overlord, especially if you never had one because, of course, like I said, it was a Japanese Transformers release only as part of their Godmaster line, or as we knew it, the Power Master. I gotta say, I'm pretty impressed with this one. There's a few things that are a little bit lacking in articulation, but it can be forgiven since it is a bit of an older toy. Overall, I gotta say that this one is really nice. The ability to break into a jet and a tank is relatively seamless. Even the really shitty attack base mode, though, that was really a lack of any imagination on how to make that into that. And while it's nice to have an extra form, I don't really think it was needed with this guy. I think the jet and the tank mode and the ease of transformation for both of them and then back into robot are absolutely outstanding. I gotta say this one is very close to getting a perfect score. A little bit tricky on some parts and it's kind of a pain in the butt to transform them, but overall I gotta say it's a very solid figure and I would give this one a 9 out of 10. This was very well done. Anyway guys, that is all we have on this one. Decepticon Overlord. I think this one did a pretty good job capturing that G1 release of this toy. But what did you guys think about this review? What did you think about our grading on it? Be sure to let Cliff Jumper know what you thought about this one. Later, y'all.
The Transformers, more than meets the eye. The Transformers.